Well, this morning, Israel faces mounting pressure on a number of fronts. 5 Israeli soldiers were killed in a possible friendly fire incident in northern Gaza. And debates, both domestic and international, continue over Israel's offensive in Rafah and post-war exit strategy. So CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd joins us now. She is a former assistant secretary for counterterrorism at the Department of Homeland Security. So let's dig into it. The new news today is that this floating pier is about to be completed. Presumably that means more aid will be able to enter Gaza. But, this requires cooperation between Israeli forces, obviously American forces, and probably Hamas as well.
Well, this floating causeway, which President Biden announced in his State of the Union, has been months in the making, Anne-Marie, not only because there are so many security vulnerabilities associated with the really large infrastructure system it'll take to make this causeway and pier operational. And then once aid is unloaded on a port that's been constructed southwest of Gaza City, for the UN, the World Food Program, to be able to move this aid to the people that need it. So as you think about the potential security vulnerabilities here, of course, the aid that's being loaded at a port in Cyprus has to be inspected. It has to go through security screening. Once it is actually loaded onto vessels and trucks and makes its journey to its pier, there are multiple potential points of failure, whether it's rocket or missile activity or bad actors trying to attack some part of that maritime route. And the causeway itself is vulnerable too. Once the aid gets on shore, we know that Israel is responsible for the security of the port, but we also know that there continue to be a series of attacks against Israeli soldiers in Gaza, and that means that this overall maritime pier infrastructure system is quite vulnerable.
Yeah, and we've seen before when it came to aid trucks, Israel, has to Israeli troops are the ones that inspect these trucks. And if they don't think these trucks are safe, those trucks don't go through. I want to ask you about something else, though, that we haven't actually talked an awful lot about lately. Today, Hezbollah, which is backed by Iran, as you know, said it launched dozens of rockets at Israeli military positions. These proxies continue to attack Israel. Can you talk to us about the security concerns? These are ongoing attacks.
Iranian-backed proxies pose a persistent threat to the security of Israel and, frankly, pose security threats more broadly throughout the region and around the world. Hezbollah continues to engage in conflict with Israel. We've seen cross-border attacks going both ways. Hezbollah launching attacks into Israel, as well as Israel launching attacks into Lebanon to try to stymie Hezbollah from attacking its own soil. We also know more broadly, Anne-Marie, that Iranian-backed proxies have really used developments in the Middle East as a marketing opportunity. They have sophisticated propaganda arms, they are trying to recruit followers, and they remain quite active in the region and around the world.
Okay, before we let you go, I want to see what you can tell us about, or your thoughts on the United Nations court hearing court hearing today about halting operations in Rafah. Before I get your answer about that, I want to play some sound from Representative Ro Khanna.
Most people heard the president to say no offensive weapons to Netanyahu until he commits to stopping the invasion of Rafah. And I think we need clear declarative statements that reassure the country that the president wants to end this war, release the hostages that Hamas has, and bring this to a conclusion.
I mean, the United Nations is holding this hearing, but I don't know if, to be frank, if the United Nations has enough influence to actually stop this invasion. It looks like it's going on.
Well, the timelines certainly don't add up.
Yeah.
The International Court of Justice will take weeks to review what South Africa has put forward. And as we understand it, despite President Biden being quite vocal that he does not support a large-scale ground operation in Rafah, it is likely that Israel will continue its operations in Rafah, which to date have been relatively limited, Anne-Marie, but they could scale that up. Even if the International Court of Justice does make a ruling, they are binding, but frankly, they are terribly hard to enforce. So it is unlikely any ruling by the UN, by the International Court of Justice, will have an impact on Bibi Netanyahu's plans.
Right. All right, Sam, thank you very much.